Hi everyone, it's Valor from Online Combat Battalion and welcome to another Arma 3 Eden editor tutorial. This one's in response to some questions asked by a viewer by the name of Giant Enemy Crab, who was asked about setting up a PvP mission, as in a simple sort of team deathmatch scenario, and how to end the mission by using score or tickets. So I'll try to make this as brief as possible. I'll try not to go too fast so that you can keep up, and we'll set that up. So obviously we need first the playable unit, and I've placed the playable unit down, and I'm going to give the playable unit a variable name of leader just by double left clicking and putting leader in variable name. Okay, it doesn't like that. Let's call him A1. Okay. The variable name's used later on when I'm going to be dropping a Zeus module in to have that for the purposes of the demonstration. So we need a team, not just one. So if you hover over this guy, press Control C and then Control V. Double left click this guy and make him playable here in the object control. Then I'm going to copy him again, Control C and Control V, Control V, Control V. So there we've got a team of 5 players. These guys are going to have to find somewhere to, well, they're going to have somewhere to respawn. So I'm going to go to Systems, down to Multiplayer, and select a respawn position. Let's double left click the respawn, and we select the side as Bluefall. So they've got a respawn position. Now I don't want them to be exposed to enemy fire when they respawn, so I'm going to be nice and I'm going to drop a great big building in front of them, which will protect them from enemy fire when they are respawning. Now what I'm going to do is give Op4 pretty much the same thing. So we want some Op4 troops. I'm not using CSAT because I hate using CSAT. Biggest joke that the game's ever produced. And we need to double left click this guy, make him playable in object control, click OK, hover over him, Control C, and then let's add some more of him. So now we have a team of 5 FIA Op4 troops. And again, because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to make sure that they're not exposed to enemy fire when they spawn in, and I'm going to give them a great big building. Again, likewise, these guys need a respawn position. So in modules, multiplayer respawn position, I'm going to drop that down, double left click, and change the side to Op4. So I'm gonna get these guys fighting over this village, or very small cluster of buildings in between these 2 spawn points. So to do that, I need to create a sector for them to fight over. So in modules, in gameplay modes, we're going to select sector control, and we're just going to drop that down. It doesn't matter where you put that, it can go anywhere. Secondly, in multiplayer, select a sector and place that on the area of the buildings. Now I want to change the size of this, so if you press the spacebar 4 times, you can then use your mouse and move the size of the sector, just to make sure that we've got that about right. Okay, we don't want it too big because this is a fairly close in game. Now with the sector control module, you don't need to do anything as in terms of edit any attributes in it, but inside the sector you do. So we're going to double left click the sector and we're going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it village. Designation is, it's a 1-letter symbol that will designate this particular sector on the map in the mission that you'll be able to see. So I'm just going to put a V for village. Side reward, let me put 3 in there. I'm not 100% sure if that fully works or not. Now the ownership limit, is a percentage of ownership that you have. So if you've got, let me put in there 0.5, if you have 50% occupation of that area over the enemy team, you're going to be capturing it. If you don't, you won't. That's how that works. The default owner, I'm going to leave that as nobody, because if you select blue 4, op 4, independent or civilian, you will actually spawn into the game as a sector owned by one of those factions. So I'm going to leave that as nobody. Task owners, because this is PvP, I'm going to select everyone. Task title, capture the village, and in task description you can put in there whatever you like. The infantry cost, these cost numbers basically mean the higher these numbers, the faster these elements will capture the point. Infantry is 1, tracked vehicles is 2, wheeled vehicles is 2, tracked vehicles is 4. So we're only using infantry, and we're just going to leave that as 1. Now we need to right click the sector, connect sync to the sector control module. So now we have a sector set up. Now we want to bleed some tickets off and allocate tickets, respawn tickets to both teams. So in modules down at scenario flow, we're going to place down a bleed tickets module. We're also going to place a respawn tickets module. So let's firstly open up the respawn tickets module, and we're going to give each team 120. So blue 4 120, op 4 120. So that's how many tickets each team will have. Now in the bleed tickets module, we need to open this up. A dominance ratio. Now this refers to the number of sectors. So in a normal sector control mission, you might have 5 or 6 sectors. And with a dominance ratio of 0.5 means that if you have a 5% holding of sectors, then the other team's tickets are going to bleed down. If you have less than that, they're not going to. So we're just going to leave that at 0.5, because I don't think it has much of an effect when you've only got one sector for a PvP type scenario like this. The delay between steps. Now that's the delay between ticket bleed steps. So at the moment it's set to 5, which means that if a team has captured the sector and the other team's tickets are bleeding down, they will bleed every 5 seconds. So I'm going to up that to 10 seconds, and the tickets, the amount of tickets to be bled every step during full dominance, it says here 3. I'm going to change that to 1 to make the game a little bit longer. Although, having said that, with 120 tickets per side, this is going to go pretty quickly. So you may want to use more tickets. Now there's another couple of things we need to put down for this to work. Firstly, we need to go up to logic entities, down to sides, grab a blue 4, place that down, and an op 4 and place that down. Now we need to highlight those by left click and drag, right click, connect, sync to the, is it the sector or the sector control? Yep, I think it's the sector control module. I just had to double check that, but it is the sector control module that you sync it to, not the actual sector. Now you need to highlight these two again, right click, connect, sync to the bleed tickets module. Okay, so that tells, these two things tell sector control and bleed tickets that there's two sides, blue 4 and op 4, that are involved in the sector control, and their tickets will bleed when the sector is captured. You'll find the tickets will also drop off every time one of your players dies. You'll lose 1 ticket. Okay, so as it is now, that should work just fine, and we'll give it a quick test. One more thing before we try it is I forgot to mention, you need to go up to Attributes, down to Multiplayer. You need to select Game Type as Sector Control. In Respawn, you need to change that to Respawn on Custom Position. And in the respawn delay, I'm just going to set that to 1 second, just for this demonstration. You can set it to whatever you like. We're going to leave Revive off, and I'm using Eden Enhanced, which gives you also this section here about respawn tickets for Blue 4, Op 4, etc. It doesn't work, so just ignore it. Okay, so that should all be good to go. Now, because this is a multiplayer game, we do need to play it in multiplayer. Don't test this in single player because you might have some issues. So let's run it now and see how it works. I forgot to mention again, because these are human players and this is a demonstration, I'm not going to have anyone to fight or to try and capture the sector. So I've set the variable name of this guy to A1. I'm going to go into Modules, down to Zeus, Game Master, drop that down, add the owner as A1, all add-ons, and OK. So if I need to add more AI, I can. What I'm going to do is put in a patrol team, and I'm going to give them a waypoint to move to there, and then to there, and in this I'm going to select Seek and Destroy that waypoint. Now because I'm on my own, I'm going to have to do a similar thing on my side, put some guys down and give them some waypoints as well, and change that second one to Seek and Destroy. Now, okay, we've got the sector control mission type banner has shown up, and you can see on the map we've got a sector here, which is the village. Okay, so there go my AI, racing away to go and capture the sector. Now you'll see in the top right hand corner here we've got 135, 135. That's a blue and red box, and they're the respawn tickets for each team. There's also a V, which denotes the village. Okay, the fight's already started. And both sides are now getting bogged down in a firefight. Now I'm pretty sure that the respawn tickets for the destruction of AI troops are not going to come off the ticket total. Now I'm in the sector, and it may be difficult to see, but that marker up the top right here with a V on it is starting to turn blue, because I have captured the sector. You may notice now that Op Force tickets are starting to tick down, but they are still moving into the sector. I'm going to pull back here a little bit, and just going to have a look in Zeus and see what we've got here. Okay, I think I need some more. I need another patrol team. I'm going to dump them in there, and I'm going to get them to move in there. So we currently have possession of this area, but now that little box is starting to change red, because blue Op 4 is now in the sector and they have control of it. So you can see how that works. Op4's tickets are down to 75 because I've got the sector. Now I'm going to move out of the sector, back away from it, and Op4 are now in the sector, so my tickets will start to bleed down as they, there we go, so they've captured it, so you can see my tickets are starting to bleed down. What I'm going to do is tip the balance in my favour, and I'm going to add a group of infantry, a recon patrol.
Awaiting orders.
And I'm going to get them to patrol in towards the village. And why don't I throw a little bit of Op4 in there just to make it interesting.
Welcome.
Okay, so as the fight continues, you can see the tickets are now down to 100 for Blue 4 and 63 for Op4. And they'll continue to fight over it. Our tickets are still ticking down because Op4 still hold the site. Feed him a grenade. Oh, bad nade. Over the building. And I'll just speed things up a little so you don't. Okay, Op4 are now down to 6 tickets, which means the mission or the match is about to end. 3 tickets, and any second now it'll be game over. And you'll see that Blue 4 has 58 tickets still and Op4 has none, so Blue 4 has 1. Now one thing I noticed when playing in there was these respawn positions did not work. So the way to make them work is, firstly, double left click and put in the variable name of respawn west for Blue 4 and respawn east for Op4. Alternatively, what you can do, and these are much more reliable than the modules, is go to markers, down to system, select empty, place it down where you want the respawn. I'm just going to get rid of that. And you can't place these in 3D, only in the 2D. And double click and change that to respawn west. And we'll get rid of this one and put another empty marker in there. Double click that and change that to respawn underscore east. So they will now work. Now one more thing you can do is you can actually restrict the play area. So you don't want these guys from either team wandering off over here up onto this hill and then using it to snipe other players. You don't want them doing wide flanking moves out here. So what we're going to do is place a trigger, and I'll make it a 500, no, that's a bit big. I'll make it a 100 meter trigger. Firstly, what I'll do is double left click to open the trigger, and the activation type here is going to be a little bit different to what we usually use for triggers. So the activation is going to be anybody not present. Then we're going to type some things in the condition field. Firstly is exclamation mark, open bracket, player, in this list, close bracket, and in the on activation we're going to type player set damage 1 semicolon. What this will do is ensure that any player that moves outside of this trigger during the match will die. So obviously we need to change the size and shape. So again, double left click, rectangle instead of an ellipse, and then we're going to span this out, stretch it out a little bit, rotate it a little more so it's kind of in line with the road, stretch it out so it covers the Op4 troops as well. There we go. So we've got a defined play area, and you can mark the outside of the play area with road barriers or HESCOs or whatever you like to let the players know what the play area is. And I will show you how that works. I'll just get rid of these guys. And I'll move myself back here and turn myself that way, and I'll show you that this actually does work to take players out if they run out of the play area. Okay, now running out of the play area into the trigger is going to cause my player to die. I just want to show you how this works. Brilliant way to make sure your players don't stray too far from the play area. So the trigger's just over there. I'll run out here and doop, down. So I'll spawn back there and I'll do something silly again. I'm going to try and leave the play area to get a wide flanking move, and nope, can't do it. So that's how that trigger works, to keep all your guys in the play area. And of course that trigger to restrict the play area must be set to repeatable. Otherwise it'll only work once. So that's how you set up a quick PvP mission. If you want to play for 10 or 15 minutes and you've got balanced teams, then I'd probably go into respawn tickets and give each team maybe 300 tickets, so that you can have a longer game. Even if that's too short for you, you might want to change it up to 500 tickets. It really depends on how many players you've got, the size of your sector, I guess. If it's a little bit bigger, then it's going to be easier for other players to hide in there and bleed tickets off the other team. But that's pretty much how you do it. If you have any questions or comments, just leave it in the comments section below, or you can head over to our Discord. The link is in the description. I'm also going to upload this mission to the Steam Workshop so that you can grab it. You can extract it and you can play around with it in the editor and do whatever you like with it. You can rename it, you can say that you made it, I don't care what you do with it. So give us a thumbs up, a sub if you haven't already subscribed, share with your mates, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate the support you guys have given me, and I'll see you in the next video.